Scott Russell, let's talk the digital ID in Australia. And I think, I know, being here in Australia, you look at what's going on and it just makes your heart feel heavy. You know that your freedoms are being taken. You know that they are not listening to anybody. And it raises a few other interesting lines of thought. And one of them is God or not God? Do you believe in God or you don't? Not just belief. Belief is your head, right? Do you know God in your heart or you don't? And if you do, then it shouldn't shock you. It's the fulfillment of what's in the Bible, a mark of the beast that's coming about. It's a fulfillment of where it says you won't be able to buy or sell without the mark. And if you don't if you don't have a relationship with Christ, then why does it bother you? Yeah, you'll lose your freedom, but you don't have freedom anyway. Freedom is an illusion. You might have daily freedom, but you try and cross over some of the greater freedoms that you think are there, and they're not. You know, being dual citizen with the US, one of the things I used to say in the US is everything is against the law, and they selectively enforce what they want to control the population. It's the same in Australia, except they don't have to selectively enforce it because most Australians are very, very compliant people. And whether you think that's good or bad, that's your call. So from me, coming from a God perspective, I look at it and I can see where it's going, and I have thoughts on preparation, thoughts on things that I am doing and may need to do, and I think it's a slow death. It's like a cancer. It slowly eats away at your freedom. Well, the last layer of your freedom. And if it's it's like being in a relationship that's abusive when you think you're free because they let you go to the shop, until ultimately you realize that you don't have freedom. And there's so many people. That's a great example. If you're in a relationship and you think you're free, I'm free to do whatever I want, but when you really look at it, you're not. You have somebody who is demanding, or you have a relationship with somebody who's in freedom with you, and you have the freedom to live whatever you want to live, but you don't because you love. And with the government, there is no love. You're in a relationship, we're in a relationship with a government system. It's like a religious system that is there to suck every bit of life out of you and to take every bit of freedom from you until the point where you can't wake up in the morning unless it's telling you what time, where to go, who you can mix with, what you can say, what you can't say. And I think we've all experienced relationships that have those tendencies, people that are controlling, people that are manipulative. And I always say, if you're being controlled, the problem's you. You allow yourself to be controlled. If you're in a controlling, manipulative relationship, you've put yourself there and you're continuing to stay there because it's easier, right? It's really not easier. It's easier in the short term, but not in the long term. And it's the same with government. We have a parasitic relationship with the government that sucks off of us and does things for us, but there will always be a government. So you can change, like the warlords in Africa. You change one, you'll get another one. One guy rapes and plunders 100 people a day. The next guy that comes in is better supposedly, and he rapes and plunders 200 a day or 90 a day. And that's government. So people think that there's an answer, that we can change things. And come on, we went to the largest protest in Australia and the government came down hard on it. There was hundreds of thousands of people there. The government came in, chased people out of their campsites, made sure nobody could stay in the area of the ACT. I know because I filmed it. It's on my feed. They had hit squads, basically. They would call them Stasi hit squads almost. These police that were in vans that were going around and pulling over anybody with foreign number plates and running them out of the area. They broke the resistance of the people. And look at Victoria here in Australia, done the same thing. They will do it on a bigger scale. They have plans. They know there will be riots. You can spend your time fighting the inevitable, or you can prepare yourself You can prepare your psyche of why I talk about spiritual things, because I know that if you are not grounded spiritually, you're going to collapse. I'll never go along with it. I promise you, you will, if you don't have a spiritual grounding for me, in Jesus Christ. And that's not a religious, organized religion. That's a personal relationship of knowing love, unconditional love, knowing that I matter to him, and knowing that the people around my life have the same love and care for me that I have for them. Inspire Talk community. If you don't have the right type of community around you, your community is not your answer. You've got to walk this personally. But having the right people there that are flowing in love and not control, domination, manipulation, if you've got yourself in positions like that and are in places like that, then it should be telling you right now that that's the type of person you are. You're going to go to control and manipulation for your comfort, because that's where you feel comfortable. That's what you're used to. You're used to the abuse. It's like alcoholic, children marry alcoholics. They say, why? Because they're used to that comfort. And some of us have become, maybe you have become accustomed to the abuse that you're living in. You've made excuses for it. You've denied it. You've just allowed it to be, and you've given up more and more of your freedom for it because it's something that you feel that you need to get through. And you're scared. What do I do if I don't? Well, that's your choice. And I can tell you now, you will be one of the first ones. You will complain, because we're good at that. You'll complain and you'll groan and you'll moan and you'll feel horrible, and you'll sell your soul out because you're already doing it. You're already doing it. Come on, let's be really objective with our lives. Look at your life. Who's around your life? Who are the people that you relate to the most? What matters the most to you? Your car, your house, what? Love? Because I tell you what, when love is there, when love is really there, you would live under a bridge with the one that you love, because you've been touched by love. And what the world presents as love today is not love. It's obedience and submission. And I think it's so important that we reflect on our insides, on what are we, because as we are coming into this, it's going to be gradual. They're going to take more and more and more liberties. And where's your line in the sand? You can say, where's my line in the sand, Scott? Well, you know where my line in the sand is? My spiritual conviction. When something crosses my conviction, it won't be happening. I'll die before I'll have it happen. Because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go and fight people physically. Not at all. I'm not saying I'll do that. I'm saying I, in myself, have a conviction that's a very strong conviction. I've walked away from things that crossed my conviction. Some very hard things. I walked away from a relationship that was skirting on crossing my convictions. Did I get hammered for it? Absolutely. Did I get misunderstood? Absolutely. But it tells me that no matter what comes at me through this, I've lived this for 20-something years for this day. So have you. Start making the choices now. You need to make the choices. You need to do anything. You can sit and watch TV if you want. I suggest it's a good time to start making choices. Look at your life. Go for a walk on the beach and look at your life. Who's around your life? What are you doing around your life? What matters to you in life? Look at it, because I can tell you now, if it's the same spirit of control, domination, manipulation, greed that the government puts forth, you will submit, 100%. You will submit. It's just a matter of time. They make it awkward enough and uncomfortable enough for you, and you will roll over for it. So find that spiritual conviction, walk it, get the right people around your life that are not going to fight your fight for you, but will stand for you and bring out the best in you because you're loved.